This historic building, contracted by the Benefield brothers and architected by Williams, Switzer, and Barnum, is Polk County Courthouse number 2, and it is a neoclassical revival architected building constructed in 1935, and it originally served as Cedartown City Hall up until 1976, when it was repurposed as an annex building for the Polk County Courthouse. So yeah, this is Polk County Courthouse number 2, Cedartown, Georgia. Let's go. Good afternoon, good people. This is P9 coming at you guys with another vlog, and I am here in the city of Cedartown, Georgia. It's a lot to unpack about this historic city right here in Northwest Georgia. So let's get into it, shall we? Now, Cedartown is a city located in Polk County. It is also the seat of Polk County with a population of 10,190 as of the 2020 census. So we're in the downtown historic district of Cedartown, and this particular area was originally inhabited by the Cherokee and Creek Native Americans, and it was originally known as Cedar Valley. And the settlement was named for the red cedar timber around the area. So that's where Cedartown gets its name from. And Cedartown was abandoned during the Civil War, when most of its citizens, basically after the Union troops encroached the area. So we're going to also get into some of these historical markers. Now, Northwest Georgia is blessed with many limestone springs, and when Van Wert was founded, hollowed out chestnut and cedar logs were fashioned to bring spring water from nearby hills into the village, making it one of the first communities in Northwest Georgia with a municipal water supply. And Cedartown's big spring was considered sacred by the Cherokee Indians, who used it as a water source and council ground. And in 1838, Fort Cedartown was hastily built downstream from the spring to temporarily house Cherokee Indians being forcibly removed on the Trail of Tears. When Asa Pryor sold the area to the county for redevelopment, he stipulated that the spring remain public use, and just before the Civil War, a hydraulic ram system was installed to pump water to the downtown area. So Cedartown began by building a water system and established a fire company in 1898. And it also built a courthouse, a jail, and a Romanesque revival style courthouse, and a new city hall, which was designed by Atlanta architect O.C. Poundstone. Now, this is some historical images. That's the Hawks Library right there, built in 1921 and named after Atlantan Albert King Hawks. This is the U.S. Post Office, established in 1833. And it was around the time of the city's founding. And these are old pictures of old City Hall back in 1901. And the WPA funded City Hall, which is now Polk County Courthouse number 2 right there. And this is the Big Spring Water Works, and as it was built in 1891. So yeah, this is where some springs were originally located, right here in the town. This is just some pretty damaged historical marker of the old Polk County courthouse, but the Polk County courthouse is right there. We're going to get closer up to it later on. But yeah, this basically shows how it was constructed, and also the process of when the clock tower was added to it. So you have this nice little seating area right here, right outside the alleyway building, which hosts an optometrist and a law firm. So we make our way down Main Street. Custom framing shop right there. And here is some more historical markers with some very insightful information. And it talks about the earliest known inhabitants of Cedartown, which are of course the Cherokee Indians. And they also had taken over the surrounding territory from the Creek Indians. So it wasn't just the Europeans taking land. It was the native tribes taking land from each other. So Cherokee settlements in the area were known as Charlietown, Cedartown, and Cleantown. And by the 1820s, white traders and scouts began to settle in the area, and trading posts were established near Tanyard Branch and the Big Spring. And after gold was discovered in the northeast part of the state, Georgia pushed for the removal of the Cherokee Indian Nation by opening their land to settlement in 1832. As a result of land lotteries held by the state, white settlers streamed into the area. A post office was established in Cedartown 1833 and First Baptist Church in 1835. So the new settlers of Cedar Valley were rarely resisted by the Cherokee, but the lawless nature of the new settlements led to conflict between the bands of outlaws and settlers attempting to build new communities. And basically, James Polk in 1851, the county was named after James Polk, who was formed, and its county seat was assigned to Cedartown. And here's one of the earliest known photographs of downtown Cedartown in 1870, looking north along Rome Road. You can see the drugstore right there, and you know, unpaved roads. And you also have this engraving of Big Spring in 1854. And this is an image of the Cherokees. And the Cherokee known as Chief Collard, photographed here with his two sons, lived in what is now called Collard Valley, northeast of Cedartown, before his forced removal on the Trail of Tears. And he returned after the Civil War and presented this photograph to the Watley family, who had settled near Chief Collard in the early 1830s. Now all these photographs are courtesy of Polk County Historical Society. And there's also some information about the Cedartown City Plan. This is a 1900 Sanborn map of Cedartown showing the limits of the original town plan, bound by East Avenue, Bradford Street, Main, and West Avenue. The 1845 Baptist Church was used as an opera house and would later be torn down in 1901. And there goes a map of the 1891 Baptist Church. They had a hotel right here. They had another Methodist church right up the street. Waterworks building, a jail, and the 1889 courthouse. So this was the street grid back of Cedartown back in the early 1900s. Here's another map of Cedartown. And this is the Adamson Plan of 1891. And Adamson Plan was named after Charles Adamson, who invested in Cedartown, and it led him to move here in 1911. And he sold the Cedartown Cotton Company and Paragon Mills to the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. So the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company had its presence not only in nearby Rockmart, but also here in Cedartown. And again, it's the Adamson Plan. It shows the limits of the Cedartown Land Improvement Company and also the existing development. They also planned a streetcar line which was never built, but the proposed park site was moved and became the Peak Forest Park in 1927. And also these images are courtesy of the Polk County Historical Society and Georgia Archives Vanishing Georgia collection. So really nice history right here. And you have the checkerboards right here. And this is the Parker and Lundy law office right here. And this also is of historical value. This particular law firm, established 1949 by the late Senator James Parker. And he established this law firm on this site in 1949. William Lundy Jr. joined the firm in 1985, and Richard J. Lundy in 87. Charles E. Chuck Morris in 98, and Laura L. Will in 2014, and State Representative Trey Kelly in 2014. And they're known for representing plaintiffs in an array of matters, including personal injury, wrongful death, and medical malpractice. The feature film, A Larger Life, which was shot in and around Cedartown, is the true story of Georgia's largest malpractice verdict in 2011 involving nursing home malpractice, which resulted in a verdict of $9.5 million obtained by the Parker and Lundy. This hometown firm cares about the community as much as its clients. Parker and Lundy funded a children's theater group known as the Cedartown Theatrical Performances Company, LLC, providing theater performances, opportunities for the area's youth since 1998. Wow, so you know this is a historic law firm if they made a movie based off of a particular malpractice case. That's crazy. That's insane. But that's shout out to the Parker and Lundy family law firm. They also look like they're very community oriented. So that's what's up. And this is the Polk County Administration Building right here. Part of the bigger Mundy building. So some benches right here along this street. Tone Zone. Soap and Candle Company. Whimsical. You have a Merle Norman. And this distinctive red brick building right here is the locally owned Holmes Clothing Store, located right here on Main Street. So it's a men's clothing store, sells a bunch of men apparel, hats, shirts, suits, all that good stuff. Casual wear. And I haven't seen duck heads in a minute. I think I had a duck head outfit when I was a kid. Can't remember if it was the shirt or the pants. Well, they have a University of Georgia Extension office right here in Cedartown. Had to come over here to the other side. They have a Cedar Nutrition establishment established in 2022, so relatively new to the area. And right here you actually have a museum for Coca-Cola memorabilia. So yes, Atlanta is not the only place that has a Coca-Cola museum. They have one right here in Cedartown that probably gets overlooked because Cedartown is obviously much smaller than Atlanta. But they do have a Cedartown Bottling Company memorabilia shop or memorabilia museum. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So Coca-Cola, of course, has a huge presence in Georgia. I mean, obviously it's a internationally known beverage, but as far as the museums and headquarters, the headquartered in Atlanta, and they have a museum right here in Cedartown, and you can see they have a Coca-Cola bottle engraved in there. That's pretty cool, engraved into the wall. And you have the Polk County Standard Journal. So Polk County has a publication right here. Pretty cool, huh? Had to capture this beautiful mural right here in downtown Cedartown. And this is the iconic fashion designer and fashion icon and renowned actress Audrey Hepburn. And if you guys remember the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's, there she is. Audrey Hepburn was in that movie, and she was very elegant. See, y'all, this is what a lady looks like. This is a true depiction, a true definition of a lady right here. Andre 3000 prophetically stated in his song Behold a Lady off the Love Below album, might I add, that one day our kids may have to visit a museum to see what a lady looks like. Well, apparently you can see a mural of what a lady looks like right here in Cedartown, and this is of Audrey Hepburn. And this beautiful art piece was done by Moraver Art. I believe that's the hashtag, Moraver Art. So this is really dope. This is really dope. Now, I wonder if Audrey Hepburn is from Cedartown. Now, the voice of Winnie the Pooh, Sterling Holloway, is from Cedartown. So I thought I'd also throw mention to him. Sterling Holloway. Might not recognize the name, but you definitely recognize the voice. Winnie the Pooh. Now, everyone loves a parade, don't they? Main Street Cedartown has always been a top choice for the area's parades, festivals, and special events. From the annual fall festival held each October to Shriney's parades, homecoming parades, and all sorts of political rallies, concerts, and barbecues, Main Street still serves as Cedartown's front porch. And as you can see right here, it's a lot of images, chronological images and photo ops of the fairs or parades right here downtown Cedartown. Right here on Main Street, including the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company, a major employer in Cedartown for many years. The Goodyear Field Day Parade was an annual event first held in the 20s by the ROTC members and the Boy Scouts. In this particular image, in the late 40s, they had a parade right down Main Street. You can see the old school Coca-Cola and all of that. Northwest Georgia Fair celebrated in the 1950s right here on South Main Street. Images courtesy of Polk County Historical Society. Still on Main Street, downtown Cedartown. right across from this really interesting looking building. Has 3 windows with the busted up shutters. They also have a music depot over there, a deli. That's the deli over there. FHT hair design. You got the Easter bunnies and stuff like that right here, little gnomes. That across the street is called the House Hall building. House Hall building in the R.A. Adams building, built in 1880. Check this out. Houses of worship in downtown Cedartown. There was multiple houses of worship, one of them being the First Baptist Church in Cedartown, which was established along the Tanyard Branch in 1835. It's about a half mile south of here. And it was established when Asa Pryor and William West donated 2 acres for the construction of the sanctuary, 1845. And the building served until 1891, when a new Gothic Revival sanctuary was constructed at the corner of Grace and College Street. It was also the Presbyterian Church, organized in 1853. You know, it was a Romanesque revival building, and it was torn down and then relocated to the north part of Cedartown, 1963. Methodist Church, organized near the Big Spring in 1850. In the 1871 Gothic style sanctuary, and it was replaced by a current structure in 1953. And here's some images courtesy of Polk County Historical Society. You have the First Methodist Church, built 1925. And again, this particular structure looks like it has that Greek revival. And there goes the St. James Episcopal Church. Now this one's more Gothic revival. This one looks like it's more of a like, I don't know, that looks kind of Gothic revival too. This is definitely Gothic revival. That's the first structure for the First Baptist Church. And it was moved and made into this structure right here. Was built in 1891. So, very intriguing history, might I say. Now, what that building you see right there on the corner is the historic A.C. Cobb building. And it was constructed in 1893. It once housed a department store operated by A.C. Cobb. And it was in this corner right here, the corner of Main and West, was historically known as Cobb's Corner, due to, of course, the Cobb, A.C. Cobb Company store being located at the intersection. Modern threads, modern consignment. We have a couple of clothing shops over here. I'm gonna go down West Avenue in a minute. Bennett Orthodontics. Yo, check this out. Cedar Valley Chops. It's an axe throwing spot. Axe throwing competition spot. It's pretty cool. Now this bench right here, dedicated to Coach Jack Hamill, Cedartown High School class of 1944, and Lois Hamill Dobson, class of 1946. So shout out to them. I guess it looks like, more than likely, looks like they were, I don't know if they were brother and sister, married couple, I'm not sure. Had the same last name. Billiards. But it looks like it's closed down, this billiard spot. It's a nail shop. HG Window Paintings did this. Shout out to HG Williams Painting for this nice painting of Bluey. And you have this space for lease right here for commercial and retail space. Now that building right there, we get closer up to it. Now this used to, looks like it has the Cedar Ridge Church. It used to host the Cedar Ridge Church. But this is some information about most of America downtowns. And as with most communities throughout America, the downtown was once home to local branches of major department stores. In Cedartown, grocery stores like Kroger and A&P once had storefronts and local merchants such as AC Cobb, which we just passed by, Stubbs and Hogg, and Rives also lined the streets. Eventually, national players like Western Auto, Belk Roads, and JCPenney came to Main Street. Over time, however, the advent of suburban malls and big box retail resulted in historic downtown locations becoming boutique stores or having more specialized services. So, yeah, you had back in here, this is the image of Diana Shops, which is a national chain that was in Cedartown from the late 1960s into the early 1980s. Put into the comment section if you remember a Diana Shops national chain. I sure don't remember it because it was before my time. Then you had Belk Roads back in the 70s as an image of that right here in Cedartown. It closed up its upper story windows to keep patrons focused on the merchandise instead of what might be happening out on the street. By the early 1980s, Belk's left Cedartown. Today, the Belk building has been renovated to his historic character. Wow, that's interesting. Because I remember it was a point in time where, like, well, I do know about Belk. If that's the same company, then if it's the same company, then that's like Belk, the national retail or national clothing store, and there goes JCPenney, national chain, had its small town beginnings of Kimmerer, Wyoming in 1912, and that's it, an image of it back here in Cedartown. Then they had the Allen's 5 and 10 cent store in 1971. Allen's was a community staple into the early 80s when it closed. Memories of hardwood floors, candy bins, and popcorn machines still can be recalled. And they also had a Western Auto store operated by A.G. Ward from 1939 to 1985. Yeah, so that was South Main Street looking north in the 1950s. All these images courtesy of the Polk County Historical Society. So yeah, as a common theme in a lot of my vlogs, if you guys have noticed, most of the downtown areas, they don't really have any major national chain of department stores. They're primarily like locally owned, specialized shops. Like this one. This is a furniture company called McBrayer. It's a locally owned spot, of course. Really cool. It's called Our House. Looks like it may possibly be a thrift store. From the outside, looks like a thrift store. It's a nice painting right here. Nice mural of what looks like a river or a lake. And that is the C.W. Smith and Son building right here. Most likely that building was possibly a department store. See if I can cross over here. I'm gonna go ahead and cross the street right here. To get this array of swings right here in the shot. Also to see the cars come down Main Street. Had to stop real quick. Every time I see one of these swings like this, I be wanting to sit down and just relax and chill for a minute, catch a breather, you know, especially after doing all this walking. But walking is very therapeutic for me, very spiritually uplifting, so can't really argue with the results, huh? Plus, you know, you get to burn off them calories after you get done eating. All right, let me get back to it, shall we? And dang, they're doing some they're laying down some, they're doing like a basically a construction site over there. And that sucks because I mean, it's good that they're doing some construction over there because they're gonna build or do whatever they're gonna do over there, but it's blocking that mural, so I can't get to the mural. It's a really nice looking mural, so I'm gonna get as much of it as I possibly can. That sidewalk is closed too, so yeah, that's unfortunate. It's a really nice looking mural. Wish they could have at least left a little section where people could check out the mural. It's really nice from my vantage point over here. Lankford Motor Company. Okay. Looks like a bunch of used vehicles. I mean, when I say used, I mean these vehicles are really, really used. I mean, this is a 2002 4Runner right here. They want $6,000 cash for it. Man, I guess it's not too bad. But I'd probably try to negotiate it down to $5,000, knowing me. And they probably firm on the price too. But $6,000 isn't really outrageous though. I mean, yeah. This is not $8,000, $9,000. But I guess for an 02, it depends on the mileage too. I'm not sure how much mileage it had on it. But yeah, here's the railroad tracks, people. We've come across the Cedartown Railroad Depot building, which also functions as a welcome center. So this is alongside the Silver Comet Trail. We highlighted the Silver Comet Trail in the Rock Mart vlog. So this is the depot. Now this is the replica of the original 1911 Seaboard Airline Railway Depot. And there's a few digital photographs right here. Right here alongside the trail. And yeah, it's a map of downtown Cedartown. And it's a Silver Comet Trail. This is where we are right now, the depot right here. And this trail goes all the way down to Rockmart and even Smyrna in Cobb County. So it's really cool. Now, the Seaboard Airline Railroad operated 3 streamlined passenger lines from the 30s, including the Silver Meteor, Silver Star, and the Silver Comet. The Silver Comet line served Cedartown from 1947 until 1969, when passenger service ended. And in 1989, the rail line between Atlanta and Birmingham was abandoned. Advocates for a multi-use bicycle trail began touting the idea of converting the route into a rail-to-trail greenway between Smyrna and Anderson. The resulting Comet Trail was constructed between 1997 and 2008 and is now the longest paved trail in the United States. And you also have the Big Spring Park, an historic site considered sacred by the Cherokee. The Big Spring was served as the water source for Cedartown since it was founded. The waterworks still in use today was built in 1891. And the nearby home of the local Women's Federated Club, the Women's Building, along with the stone bridge and garden furniture, was built by the Works Progress Administration in 1935. So part of the National Heritage or National Register of Historic Places. They also have a Cedartown Performing Arts Center here, historic museum, children's library, and Peak Forest Park. So all these places must be along the trail. It's pretty nice, pretty cool that they have all these areas nearby. But yeah, Cedartown Depot on the Silver Comet Trail, as you guys can see. It's really nicely designed right here. Right across from an A&W appliance shop. Really cool. Cedartown, Georgia, where progress is born. And on the side of this old antique shop right here, you have a Bible scripture. It says, "For the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life in Christ Jesus Lord." And that's from Romans 6:23. Amen to that. That's why we should try to avoid sin as much as possible. But if we fall short of the glory of God, then ask for forgiveness, pray for forgiveness, and be a righteous individual. Do right by God. Do right. And this is downtown Cedartown Association mural right here. Beautiful little town. That indeed it is. And you have a painting of downtown, silhouettes of many people in the town. You also have the Cherokees right here. The Trail of Tears marker, walking their footsteps. The Cedartown Coca-Cola Bottling Company museum right there. Can't forget the Cedartown clock right there. And the Silver Comet Trail, where you see 3 individuals pedaling their bicycles. And it looks like the West Theater right there. So this mural, really beautifully done mural, is by John Christian, who did this mural in 2020. Shout out to John Christian. Here's his information, which includes his social media handle. I believe that's his social media handle. telephone number for business inquiries, and his website. Shout out to John Christian. This is a really nice, dope mural. Nicely put together. Very accurate depiction of Cedartown through the mural. Let me go over this way. Try to get across the street over here. Well, actually not try, I'm gonna get across the street. Of course, you have the Silver Comet Trail, which continues down this way. Nice little walking and bicycling trail. Now, this is a modernized building called the Lankford Corner, right here on the Silver Comet Trail. Lankford Corner. So it's a new multi-purpose event facility. Hosts weddings and corporate meetings, city events, 6,000 square feet. So a modern facility right here, downtown Cedartown. Absolutely astounding architecture. Look like two slanted. Looks like the roof had two slanted like panels on it, or I think that's what it's described as. And they have this back area, which I guess you can use it as like a little walking trail, blow off some steam. They even have this marker right here with information. So I wonder who it was named after. So this is the Cedartown City Commission. This actually opened September 26, 2025. So 5 months ago. It's only been open for 5 months. And these are the Cedartown city officials. The architects, Mark Cochran, Audrey Kendrick, and also I think they're of the Duffy Southeast Construction. So shout out to them for this nice architecture. Very nice architecture of the building. And the facility was created in part through the generous donation of land from the Jim and Jean Lankford family, hence the name Lankford Corner. And they are staunch supporters of downtown Cedartown, Polk County Historical Society, and the Silver Comet Trail. Their dedication of our town lives on this building and the garden that surrounds it. The city of Cedartown also wishes to extend special thanks to the Appalachian Regional Commission and Northwest Georgia Regional Commission and the W.D. Tripp Foundation and their support in bringing this dream to fruition, and to former city manager Bill Fan, who served as project manager during the construction of this facility. So it's good that all those individuals are able to collaborate and make this and build this facility for the community. And shout out to the Lankfords for donating this land so that it could come to fruition. And they even have this nicely decorated like little rock trail, or whatever you want to call it, a little mini trail of rocks, different paints, and this nice little butterfly sculpture. So this is basically making like a little peaceful garden. And this is what I like about little small towns like this, especially conservative Christian towns and stuff like that. You know, regardless of what your religious affiliation is, you can all agree that they are all about peace and humanity in these places. So it's really nice to come here and indulge in all the sights and beauty of a city like Cedartown. These EV charging stations, sponsored by Georgia Power. And you're gonna see a lot more of these as the years continue to go by. More and more people get those EVs. No offense to the EV enthusiasts out there, but I think I'll stick to my gasoline powered vehicle. You know, but hey, to each its own. Over here on West Avenue, the first thing I see right here is the U.S. Post Office building, the historic U.S. Post Office building right here in Cedartown. And architecturally speaking, it has the classic brick exterior with the arched windows and decorative white trim, which was typical of early 20th century government architecture. So a lot of government buildings that was built in the early 20th century were designed in this similar fashion. Arch windows were very common. Again, this is the post office building. Initially, I thought it was City Hall, but it's the post office building. They have this museum of local history right here, and it sits right across the Polk County Annex building. Polk County Historical Society Museum right here. And this is the historic West Cinema right here in Cedartown, built in 1941. Has the Art Deco architectural style, which was common during that time period in the mid 20th century. It's a family-owned business, by the way, so that's really cool. Has that nice little lime green, or mint green, I should say, this mint green facade outside. Nice marquee. We're over here by the old Goodyear tire facility right there. So that's where they sold Goodyear tires. And remember, Goodyear tires, even though it's headquartered in Akron, Ohio, that's the roots of the actual company. They did have manufacturing companies in outside of Akron, like a lot of, you know, like major retailers or major chains. They might be headquartered somewhere, and then they'll have different, I guess, operations, different manufacturing plants in other places. And there's another shot of it right here. Goodyear tires spot right there, which brings us to Polk County Courthouse, the historic Polk County Courthouse right here. And here's some information about Polk County. Hold on, let me get this strap. All right. But yeah, Polk County, created December 20th, 1851, and named for President James Knox Polk. Cedartown is fittingly named for the trees for which flourish in this beautiful valley. The city is a railroad center, has a thriving textile industry and a large paper mill. Rockmart, 13 miles to the east, has textile mills that give the area much employment and a large payroll, as well as being the center of Portland cement production. So Rockmart and Cedartown, very major production areas, industrial spots that serve the region of Northwest Georgia. So that's pretty cool. And again, this is the Polk County Courthouse right here. Now, this current building for the courthouse was built in 1951. Let me get this one last historical marker right here in downtown Cedartown. And this is a marker of Ivy Ledbetter Lee, founder of the modern public relations. Ivy Ledbetter Lee, public relations expert, author, lecturer, and philanthropist, was born July 16, 1877 near Cedartown. He attended Emory College for 2 years and then went to Princeton, where he earned his AB in 1898, paying his way by working on university and New York newspapers. In January 1899, he arrived in New York with a raincoat, diploma, and $5. Talk about a dollar and a dream. Wow. And found work as a reporter. In 1905, pursuing his idea that business needed better public relations, he opened a counseling office in New York. And by 1915, he had begun a lifetime association as John D. Rockefeller's publicity counsel, especially in Rockefeller's widespread benevolences. So the founder of public relations right here in Georgia, his name is Ivy Lee. He died in New York City, unfortunately, in 1934. He wasn't that old too. He was only like 56, 57, somewhere around there. But shout out to Ivy Ledbetter. So, you know, being in the journalism field, especially when it comes to ethics in journalism is very important. I'm pretty sure Ivy Lee instilled those morals and ethics and lived by those morals and ethics. You have to be truthful when it comes to reporting and report from an unbiased standpoint, which I wish some journalists and modern day journalists and publications would do, those who shall remain nameless. But shout out to Ivy Lee. He did things the right way. Interesting, his name is Ivy Lee, and he went to an Ivy League school, Princeton. And there goes one of those Confederate sculptures right there. But that'll conclude downtown Cedartown. One more stop in the town, and we're gonna conclude the vlog. On my way to the Big Spring Park, but before I get there, I wanted to come check out this building right here and get some historical context behind Big Spring Park and its contribution to the Native Americans and society in large. So right here is the Cedartown Waterworks, or the Woman's Building, part of the Big Spring Park Historic District. So you guys are in for a big street. So this is where the water was facilitated and processed, filtered, and all that good stuff, and distributed to the citizens of Cedartown. And here's some historical context and information about Big Spring Park. Asa Pryor, born in Virginia about 1785, pioneered into this valley and purchased a large tract of land, including this spring and Cedar Creek in 1834. In 1852, he deeded the spring and 10 adjacent acres to the city of Cedartown. Another pioneer, Mr. Walthall, established the Walthall Indian trading post near the spring. Peace-loving Cherokees gathered here. Indian young people danced their corn dance under the cedar trees. The Cedar Valley Garden Club beautified this park, and a shrine was dedicated to the memory of Senator William Julius Harris, whose funeral was held in the park in April 21st, 1932. So let's get into this, shall we? Very interesting history behind the Waterworks building and Big Spring Park. So the spring is where you can get really good and natural water, good and filtered and healthy for consumption. Obviously, some of the healthiest water that you can get is spring water. And again, this is one of Cedartown's most beloved sons. This rock was in memory of Senator William J. Harris, and this is the plot where his funeral was held. So very cool. And here again, here's the spring right here. Here's the water. So I previously went to Cave Spring, Georgia, in one of my previous vlogs. Now the cave wasn't open, and I neglectfully or regretfully did not bring any gallons of water or gallons of jugs, I should say, so to collect some of that spring water. But next time I go to Cave Spring and check out the cave, we're gonna definitely check out Cave Spring. And here's a carving of a Cherokee Indian head right here. So that's really dope. And this rock is in memory of Major General W. Scott Hart of the United States Air Force. Lived, served, and died with honor. Dedicated by his classmates of Cedartown High School, class of 1955. Shout out to Major Scott Hart. Check out the flow of this spring water right here. And this is a really nice, warm day, sunny day here in Georgia. The temperatures are going to dip next week for the last week of February. So that's why I had to come out today on this Friday, February 20th, and take advantage of the weather before it dips again. The temps dip again, and I just have to wait it in. But I'm really gonna hop out during the spring and get hella vlogs, you know. So let me go around this way and check out these seats right here. You have these seats made out of stone and cement. So you might want to bring some pillows that you don't mind getting dirty to cushion for a cushion. But check out, this is how the Cherokees lived. They had this area that they used to, I'm pretty sure they used this to cook food or to prepare food. Definitely use this to keep warm in the harsh winters here in Georgia. We got this little stone bridge right here at Big Spring Park. It's a nice place to get a relaxing stroll. And also feel like you're back in history. Feel like you live in like one of the Cherokees. So Cherokee is in my bloodline, so this is a really special visit for me. So you get kind of emotional when you come places like this. You know, it really pulls at your heartstrings, and definitely taps into your emotions, because of what the Cherokees had to endure, had to get forcibly removed from their land because of the government. And that's just unfortunate. You know, they had to go somewhere where they're not familiar with and basically try to adapt. And I know that's difficult because this is their indigenous land, but you know, it is what it is. It's part of history, and it's just, you know, it's very unfortunate. And then, of course, you know, you had a lot of people, a lot of them that didn't make it on that Trail of Tears. A lot of them got sick and got diseases and just basically died off. But, you know, this is very, very sacred land. And it's really good to come visit these places, even in the modern day, you know, very, very many centuries later. You know, we're talking 2 centuries after the Trail of Tears. And I'm gonna cross back over here, cross this stone bridge, and get one last marker. It's a marker I wanted to get, and we'll close this thing out. If you guys made it this far, make sure you hit the like button. Also subscribe to the channel. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. I greatly would appreciate that. Support the channel on the road to 5,000. I'm almost at 2,000 now. 2,000 subs. We're on the ultimate road to 5,000 subs, and I think it's only going to go up from there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this last marker over here. Regarding the Trail of Cherokee, Trail of Tears, Cherokee, and the walk in their footsteps. Now, the area surrounding the Cedartown Big Spring was first inhabited by the Cherokee Indians. The land was prized for its abundance of sparkling spring water and shape providing cedar trees. The Cherokee people lived here peacefully until May 26, 1838, when militiamen began their forced roundup as part of the 1830 Indian Removal Act. 80 soldiers set up a military post here and on this very land, creating Camp Cedartown. More than 200 Cherokee men, women, and children were captured during a month's time until they were forced to travel to deportation camps in Tennessee and later farther west. Because of this, the land where you now stand plays a significant role in the Trail of Tears. On this ground, and the Cherokee people wept, mourning the loss of the land they loved and the lives lost along this trail paved with tears. And like as I just laid out not too long ago, yeah, very, very emotional hearing about that. And it's just a very tumultuous and treacherous journey filled with tears, forcibly removed from the land that they love, a land that they built. So it's a very tragic part of history, and that's how I will end this vlog. I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in to this vlog. If you made it this far, I appreciate you guys for rocking with me. This was a really good vlog. I hope you guys learned a lot. I definitely learned a lot along the way of this vlog. So if you're new to this channel, once again, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell. Once you hit the bell, make sure you hit all. That way you get notified each and every time I drop a new vlog. With that in mind, good people, thanks again for watching this vlog. See you guys on the next one. Peace.